What's up, John? How are you?
Very good.
Perfect timing.
Very good.
Welcome.
I'm all about timing.
Welcome back to episode 15 for all you booties out there.
Yes. Welcome, booties. Listen, we've had this discussion before. I hate the name. I don't think you like the name.
I don't like the name. Okay. I just like the fact that you don't like the name. So
and that's why you
That's
like
why
it.
I like the name.
Yeah. So I was chatting with a booty.
Really?
Yep. And they suggested a name that I thought was hilarious. The socks. Because that is what is behind the boots.
It's what's inside the boots.
I guess it depends on how you look at life.
It's true. I'm a half sock guy kind of guy. I was actually had a comment from a booty as well that suggested that the name should be the Bootlickers.
The Bootlickers. Is that sexual?
God, no. It just means they really get into
I didn't know if it was like an Urban Dictionary
they really get into the show.
I thought it was like a...
So, for those of you out there in Booty Land, you can comment on our Instagram and see if you prefer one of those names more than booties.
So you can go to our Instagram page, BT Boots Podcast, and shoot us a message or whatever they do on Instagram. You want to slide in my DMs?
Yeah, slide in the BTB DMs.
It's always lubed up. You can slide in whenever you want.
Just like John's lips. He was lubing up before the episode.
Lube up the lips.
Yep.
Yeah. So we have the socks and we have
the Bootlickers. And we want the booties.
We want the booties to decide which you want more.
Yeah. It's like, what's up, socks? How you doing out there?
Maybe Bobby even posted on his Facebook page.
Or maybe like, what's up, shoelaces? Bootlaces.
Every week it's just going to be a different part of the boot.
Yeah.
What's up, souls?
If people are listening in Hawaii, do we call them the jungle booties?
I think that might be racist.
Jungle boots are a well-known piece of military equipment. Jesus. I swear. Anyway, welcome to episode 15.
Yeah, we're back here.
We're back.
Yeah, we're back, and we're drinking something a little different.
Mm-hmm. There's a reason behind it too, right?
Before we get to the drink, we had the live show 2 weeks ago, right?
Which went very well, I thought.
It went really well.
Reception from the booties was very well as well.
Yes, it was. And in that episode, I distinctly remember you saying that you could do a whole podcast on Korea.
Correct. Probably about 4.
4 podcasts or 4 episodes?
No,
Just going to do 4.
Well, yeah. I mean, you could do a whole podcast on the military history of Korea. You could do a whole podcast on its drinking culture. You could do a whole podcast on what is the joy of kimchi and the types of kimchis. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just gold right there, really. But...
I mean, I guess.
With the premise of Behind the Boots in the fact that we are a military lifestyle podcast.
That's correct.
That specifically talks about life in the military behind those boots. That's nothing combat related, nothing like warfare related. It's what military folks do when they're off and when they're fucking around and when they're supposed to be working and what really happens. And I couldn't think of really anything better than a year-long tour in Korea to describe all of those things.
Yeah.
So John came up with the idea to do an entire Korea episode, which is what we're going to do. Every segment, every mail call, including our drink.
Which I bought at a local, was it Packy?
Yeah.
Is that what they call them? Went down to the Packy, got myself some Korean grape soju, which is a rice wine.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you what, Bobby didn't have a lot of good things to say about it. I don't mind it. It tastes like great medicine.
That's the problem.
Yeah. It brings me back to the childhood days.
Yeah, that's the problem. So I think anyone who has ever been TDY2 or to, spent a tour in Korea has had soju at some point in their life. It is the lifeblood of Korea.
It was since 1924.
Yeah.
This company has some
Jinro,
history.
which is a very,
Jinro.
very popular one.
Yeah.
And we'll get into a little bit more about what to do with soju a little bit later. But our drink tonight is soju green grape flavor. And it's like Concord grape juice, like Welch's green grape juice. It's delicious.
Love it.
So if you ever go to...
It's hitting at 13%.
I know.
As well,
and so,
which is bananas.
Yeah. If you ever get the chance to go to like a Korean barbecue joint...
Oh, so good.
Phenomenal. Soju with it just goes very well.
With some bulgogi.
Love bulgogi. As long as you don't eat K-golgi, which in Korean is dog. The bulgogi's beef, K-golgi's dog. But it is what it is.
You know?
But, I spent 18 years in the military, and both in the Army and the Air Force, like everyone I knew had either done a tour in Korea or had gone there for like a deployment, a TDY deployment, whatever. Like in the Army, it's very hard to find people that do a 20+ year career that have never gone to Korea. It's like the hole that you have to get shoved in one time in your life, right? And even if I know guys that would like get it early and then get fucked and have to go back. I've known Air Force guys that have gone multiple times for that one year tour. My uncle went twice. He actually took my aunt there for his last assignment.
Korea was cool?
Yeah,
or back when Korea was cool?
Korea was cool. But yeah, so Korea is something that it's just you have to experience it. We're going to try to get the listeners to experience it. I know some of you have probably been there. But for my first segment, it's what I automatically think of when I go to Korea, and that's not the people or the culture or the kimchi. It's drunk 30.
Oh shit, not good.
Makes sense.
And it's all the time is party time in Korea. And I was fortunate enough to go to Korea 5 times over a 18-month period for short exercises. But I was well acquainted with the drink of soju. And I'm going to start this off with a real, legit news story, not anything satirical. This is a real news story about the effects of soju and what the military had to do to stop those effects. So this came...
So did you find this article before I've decided I was going to go with soju rice wine?
Yes.
Wow.
Because my segment was going to be drunk 30 no matter what.
Yeah.
Because I was going to... There's stuff to talk about in Korea, but it's soju, right? It's all soju related. So Osan Air Base, South Korea, which is the largest air base in Korea. There are...
That's where the guy had the dead bird pet.
Correct. Yep. There are 4,000 Air Force guys stationed there. There's also Army personnel stationed there, but there's an A-10 squadron, there's a U-2 squadron, there's an F-16 squadron, and then we would bring our
U2 like the band?
No,
Bono was in Korea?
Bono was stationed there for a year at a time. It's actually a U2 cover band, bunch of Koreans. It's really good. But
it's called U2K.
It's all U2 K-pop. And BTS U2. So it's a big base, right? And it's literally smack dab in the middle of a town. And it's in Osan. So this is off of the wonderful publication known as Stars and Stripes.
Ooh.
So it's hard-hitting, real solid...
Nothing but the real stories.
Real solid journalism. So Osan, South Korea. And the first word is just soju.
You get my attention.
The potent liquor is sometimes called Korean vodka. No one calls it Korean vodka. It's Korean moonshine. It's really what it is. Okay. Was banned here Tuesday from service members' dorms. The ban will apply to 3,800 airmen and soldiers living in dorms at this fighter base. The action comes after a spat of recent incidents in which service members suffered health problems believed to be at least partly related to soju. 2 service members this weekend had to be taken to the base emergency room because of the effects of heavy drinking. Base officials said, it's believed soju, which is known for its stealthy sneak punch effects on drinkers, was among the types of alcohol the 2 were drinking.
This sounds like they're profiling soju right now.
Exactly, right? This is counter to good order and discipline and does not ensure we're ready to fight tonight, which is our mission. Air Force Colonel, I'm just going to skip his name, commander of the Osan's 51st Fighter Wing, told Stars and Stripes on Tuesday.
Google who it is.
Yeah, but the thing is, this is 2008. This dude's probably a 4-star by now. Even worse. Making policies like this.
What a nerd.
So the commander said he wants to reduce the chances that troops in the dorms behind closed doors, which means behind the boots, might drink too much, especially if there aren't reliable companions present. So what he's saying is
you're either drinking or you're fucking.
Yeah, or you're drinking and you have idiot friends with you that are causing you to drink more.
I thought this guy was just like, I'd rather you fuck than drink.
Which is also, I mean, that could be consumed as reliable companions.
Yeah.
Soju is a growing concern, Commander said. The same factors that make the popular liquor easy to consume, it's cheap, tasteless, odorless, also make it dangerous, he said. This is like, have you seen Dewey Cox?
Yeah.
He's like, it's marijuana. It takes away all your pain. It doesn't have any side effects. It's not addicting. You don't want any of this. He goes, I think I do.
Yeah, it sounds really great.
Before they know it, they've gone beyond the stage of just being a little drunk, and they're extremely intoxicated. If people choose to drink and they're legal to do it, I think that's fine. But they need to do that responsibly. Fucking words.
I know.
It takes a good battle buddy and a good wingman to watch out for each other, which is crap because a good battle buddy is going to buy you more.
Yeah. No, I'll go off base for you. Don't worry about it.
I got it. I'll get more. He said he'd issue the ban in a form of a policy letter he would sign Tuesday night that would take effect immediately. By the way, it was still illegal to have it on base when I was there 5 years after this was
it really?
was written.
That just goes to show that once a policy's in place, like
it ain't fucking. It's like that guy painting that bench.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. No one gives a shit.
It ain't fucking happening.
Yep, it's just
troops of legal drinking age will still be able to bring soju on base, but will be forbidden to have it in their dorms. The commander said in an interview late Tuesday, which just leads to binge drinking. Like I have a case, I brought it on base, I can't keep it, I got to drink it all.
I guess I just got to drink it all in my car before I get there.
Soju is not sold on base, but off base. Here's the best part. Are you ready for the numbers?
Kinda.
But off base Tuesday, it was for sale at convenience stores just outside of Osan's main gate. And soju in large plastic bottles, prominently displayed in racks at the sales counter, go for about 4,500 won a bottle, or about $4.50.
Not bad.
Smaller bottles, just like the ones we're drinking today, were available in the store's chilled beverage section, selling for about 1,350 won, or $1.35.
That's pretty good.
So, that's amazing, right? Which is why we love it.
That's a great deal.
So, yes, they can buy it. They can bring it into planned events at one of our pavilions. But my assumption is that there will be other people around them that'll help make them the right decision. So,
that's how new to the military?
Yeah.
Where did he come from?
So that's how I wanted to start my segment about drinking in Korea.
Yeah.
Is reading an official ban policy for the drink of choice in Korea because it's so fucking wild. Now, soju, as we're drinking it, so in the article it does talk about that it's odorless, tasteless, colorless, which is the traditional soju. This is quite fucking good. It's delicious. But real soju, it does not taste like anything. So there's a couple ways that you can buy it at the clubs there because it's basically right outside Osan. Now, I know a few of our booties that are listening spent time in like Yongsan Garrison, which is where like the army headquarters is, which is near Seoul. So I'm going to speak. I've been there, but I'm going to speak specifically for the Osan Strip District, which is going to take the place of all Korea at this point.
Soju just going to speak about Osan?
Soju, I'm just going to speak about this for Osan. So outside the base, right, you get the convenience stores first, and then down the strips are just nothing but bars. 4-level, underneath, top.
The way life should be, I think.
Absolutely. And in between all these are fucking Korean barbecue joints.
I thought you were going to say whorehouses.
Oh, no, my friend. So it's quite common that you get your soju pregame on the way to the place that was world renowned, known as the Meat House, which was an all-you-can-eat Korean barbecue joint.
Also sounds like a
Yes,
also
it
sounds like a
does.
brothel.
Yes, it does. So you get your soju going, then you get the meat sweats, then you head off to one of the clubs and you start pouring kettles. So the mama-san, who works at the bar, would bring you the soju kettles, and it's a like 10 or like a metal tea kettle, and they pack it full of ice. And they pour in bottles of soju, and then they pour in Korean cider, which is basically Sprite. And then they put like either a little bit of food coloring in it, or, you know, because all their bars are trapped in like the late 80s, early 90s, and they're all black lighted and like all funky like that.
yeah, like all like ecstasy.
Yeah, yeah, and they're playing like crazy. They all have like it's
They're
very
just playing Sandstorm over and over again.
yeah. But it's really popular in the bars to have like a laptop plugged in to the sound system, and you would just go pick your songs. It was like a
That's convenient.
almost like a jukebox.
Yeah.
But like on a laptop you could pick and like search. They had these like
It's like a jukebox, but it makes sense.
yeah, exactly. But you could search fucking anything, right? And they would blast, and they're all music videos. So they would have them on these huge screens all in the bars. And then you would get a kettle and be like, I'll get the first kettle. And it's like $13, and it's 4 or 5 bottles of soju, a bottle of Sprite, or a big bottle. And then you drink it with your friends, and you have like shot glasses. And we went to this one bar. I can't even remember the name of it. It's the bar where, if you remember, like first couple episodes, I talked about me missing the fucking sign and smashing my tooth.
Yeah.
And then falling. I'll actually give Big Dick Nick the picture of me after that, so he can post it.
Please do.
With this, and it'll just say Korea.
Yeah.
It's like all smashed up. But you go down these stairs in this bar, and you know the song Satisfaction?
Yeah.
Like, I can't get no.
Yeah.
It's like that, but it's the techno version of it.
Yeah.
Okay. With the chicks with the big boobies that are bouncing, that are using power tools.
I know it well.
Familiar? Okay.
Yeah.
So there was a game that you had to play in this bar.
Boobies.
Yeah, boobies. So there was a game that you had to play in this bar that anytime a new power tool was introduced, you had to do a shot of soju, and you had to scream out the name of the power tool. There's like 300 power tools in that whole video.
Yeah.
So this just precedes how you get fucked up, right?
Okay.
And then I'll get the next kettle. And you just drink kettles all night long. And then you go to other bars on the strip that are beer bars. They're the country bars in Osan. And there was one, I can't remember the name of it, but it had I think it had like a mud wrestling ring in it. I was usually shit-faced by this point, but the thing about this bar was they had these...
That was actually just the shitting trough.
that might have been. I did puke in another bar, filled up a fucking urinal with vomit because everything was packed, and I was like, we gotta go right now. And I grabbed my buddy, and we took off. But anyway, this bar, they had these beer steins that were big plastic beer steins, like 35 ounces, but they... had a screw bottom, and they fill them up with water, and then they would freeze them, so it kept your beer cold.
Yeah.
And then when you finish your beer, you would unscrew it, take the frozen thing out, and they had a target. If you hit the center of the target, you got a free beer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like the faster you drank your beer, the bigger your ice beer would be, because it wasn't melting. So like, it's just proceeds you to buy more beers and throw fucking shit. So it's just
fucking genius marketing.
Yeah, fucking debauchery, right? Yeah. Like, so then you go back and you keep drinking because you're going to go back to a soju bar, and then so that's just the first night in Korea. Okay, and this happens over and over and over again. And I was talking to one of my buddies in preparing for this, one of my best bros. So he did the same job as me in the Air Force, but he was assigned to Osan. There's always the SEER guy assigned at certain bases for continuation training and stuff. So he was assigned there. He's like, yeah, that was my life for the first 3 months. And then you fucking sober up, and you start doing like trips around the country, and you scuba dive and do all the stuff with the MWR. Yeah. And then he's like, and then my month 6 to 9 is when you start doing schoolwork. And the last 3 months you go back to doing all that shit. So it's like this cycle, because you can't do it forever.
Right.
But let's just talk about the fact that this drink is $1.35.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't $1.35 when I bought it. I mean, it was still
It's not super expensive.
No.
But so like you're drinking this on like an
like I'll Venmo you for the money, but
Yeah.
it wasn't that bad.
like an E2 or E3's like pay. You can see
It's
why.
perfect for
Oh
it. Yeah,
my
it's perfect for
God.
it. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think you're going to see later on as we get into some of the mail calls and stuff, like the effects of soju as well. But we're going to do something a little different for this week as well. Is I'm just going to carry on it because my second segment is directly related to Oh Drunk 30 and what happens after your night of partying has come to a close. Because for the longest time there was curfews on Osan. You had to be back in the gates by midnight. So we're talking, you're going from 5 o'clock when you get off work
It's a long time.
till midnight. Like
7 hours by my math.
your math's correct.
Thank you.
So your parties, plus you're factoring in your dinner, right? So like you're out the gate quick.
Yeah.
Because you got to get back. You have to be in the gate, like scanned ID
Before midnight.
by midnight.
Yeah.
So one of the other greatest things about the Osan Strip, beside Songtong Sally, and most of you will, if you've been to Korea, you'll know that, but are the food vendors, the street vendors. Everything is fried. And for this segment of What's Cookin', we're going to talk about the after soju food. Which is important because as you're sucking all this stuff back, right, you've got to get something in your stomach. Otherwise, you're going to be dead the next day anyway after soju, but you got to get something in it. So one of the things that was world famous was the Miss Kim burger. Don't ever eat it.
Go on.
Don't ever eat it sober. Don't ever look at it being made sober. It's a
Okay.
little Korean lady who had a stand right in the middle of the district. And it just said Miss Kim burger. And there was a bunch of fried stuff on front. But the Miss Kim burger itself is a some sort of browned meat.
Okay.
Not quite sure. Okay, what it is. But it has all the fixings, right? It's got some egg, or it's got some it has some like fried onions on it. It has this like Korean coleslaw on it, and then topped off with a fried egg.
That's like amazing drunk food.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So the Miss Kim burger was this place to go to afterwards. But it is the messiest thing to eat, but you're like, it's basically wrapped in like newspaper wrappings.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Which is also very sanitary.
100%,
Yeah.
right? Like this may be how COVID started, but
Probably.
or maybe why most service
Allegedly.
members who've been to Korea were immune from such such things. But you're eating this thing, walking on cobblestones, shit faced, getting like egg yolk all over you, like dumping down. But some of the other deliciousness that would be served were like fried dumplings called yakimandu. And you'd get like a little styrofoam cup and you'd be like, I want yakimandu, shrimp, gyoza, and you get all these things fried. And they have like the cart going right there and they dump it in the fryer and they shove it in like a little styrofoam cup,
Yep.
kind of like a chowder cup.
Yep.
And they just put like 2 or 3 like long wooden skewers in it. And that's just how you eat it. And it was cool to take them in all the bars too. So you could get like mid-drink snacking as you're
That's
going.
awesome.
And you could get like a shrimp basket, which had like fried shrimp.
Yep.
I think they were fried shrimp. We weren't close to the ocean, but we were close enough.
It was fried.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah.
And then you get it put over like a thing of French fries, and you're just like picking it. And you'd see people like lean out the windows of the bars, be like, "Yo, grab me," as they're coming in, and like they're walking up, and you're like, have your yakimandu. But then, what is common knowledge, or what's a common happening, is that you would wake up the next morning, and you would see.
Immediately shit your brains out.
No, not immediately.
No?
No.
I would immediately.
Because usually, so I was there for like rotations for like TDYs, and like we really didn't have like off time because we were flying and we were doing like exercises and missions and stuff all the time. So you still had to go to mission brief the next day, or you had to go to the flight line and do whatever, or whatever it is. But like you would see a line of clothes from, I was Air Force, so we stayed in the hotel. Loved it. You could book out the window, laugh at all the Army guys in the tents. But you could you could see a line of clothes from the door to your bed, like where you were just taking it off. And then you'd also usually see either a spilled over or on the counter a bunch of cold fried food that you weren't able to finish. And,
Perfect breakfast.
and you would attempt to eat it, then
Not good.
you would immediately then you would shit your pants.
This doesn't taste good at all.
Nope. And you would have to either try to run to the chow hall to grab something or grab Popeyes on the way to the flight line to go do mission briefing. But this was a common occurrence. So the food aspect in Korea was you eat a chow hall lunch.
Yep.
Okay. You can either stop in the BX and grab Popeyes or Charlie's subs.
They have the worst restaurants.
They do. They're like the cheapest.
PXs.
Like, yeah.
The only thing that's keeping these franchises alive is AVs.
Yeah, I saw a Charlie's recently somewhere else, like not in a military base, and I was like,
Why?
"Is this the only one?"
Yeah, that is the only one.
Where was that? It was a Charlie's somewhere else. It might have been like probably an airport. That's why.
Probably
yeah, I think it was
unsavory.
Atlanta Airport.
Was it?
Yeah, which is basically a military base.
Yeah.
So you grab that for lunch, you do that, and then you immediately change out of uniform, like as soon as you're cut work, and you gather up and you start, day drinking with beers on the way down to the gate, and you're outside and you grab your dinner at the Korean barbecue. And if you've never experienced Korean barbecue, like I love it.
It's so good.
Dude, beef on a leaf is amazing.
It's so good.
And the different types of like kimchis that you can throw on there, just fucking epic, right?
Yeah.
But it also, the amount of sodium you're taking in
Listen,
just brings you to the shitter the next day with all the alcohol that you're consuming as well, which
You're
is
talking
fine.
semantics.
You just get it right. You just get it right out. And then you go through your drinking, and then you do your fried foods, and then finish it off with a Miss Kim's burger. And you do that, rinse and repeat every single day until you leave.
This Miss Kimsbury sounds like a locally famous
Google,
place, right?
You on the Google Miss Kim Burger Osan.
You can't Google it on your papers?
I did. It's what
okay.
popped up.
Didn't work.
You'll see the picture of Miss Kim. Yeah, so it is Osan famous, right? And you can just see the chart. You can see the cart and just see
chart?
the chart.
The chart?
The chart. The chart
You
of
can
the
see
chart.
the chart.
Yeah,
Is that Miss Kim right here?
I believe so.
I know you can't see.
Miss Kim number 2.
Miss Kim. And Young Chung fried food.
Yeah. Just fried foods.
Yeah, it's just going down.
The other
like
thing
the
you can
food
get is you
carts.
can get like chicken on a stick, which is like
Alright.
chicken skewers, and they give you like 6 or 7 of them in a cup. Like they give you a ton of food.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Well, it's like they're cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing that you're doing while you're doing this is you're looking through the back alleyways because that's where all the tailor shops are. And you can get like, let's say you wanted a monogrammed blazer with with the Behind the Boots podcast logo.
Yeah.
You could go in there, they'd pull it up on the internet.
Yep.
And they'd be like, all right, come back Tuesday.
Yep.
And it'd be done. It'd be set. You're like, fucking done. You want any jersey? You can walk in and they'd be like, I want a 1982 Flyers. And they look it up. They're like, this one? I'm like, yep. I'm like, all right.
When I was in Iraq, there was on some of the bases there was those embroidery shops, and I knew a guy who had a jersey made, and instead of Welker for Wes Welker, they put Weckler. And I think it was Reebok they had on there. It was upside down.
Yeah. The thing with the differences with the ones in Korea, that's usually where they make them anyway.
So they should know.
So they do, and most of them are correct. And most of them have the correct patches. And so every time you go to Korea, people will be like when we were going from Okinawa, be like, hey, grab me this, grab me that, grab me whatever. Because like a lot of the guys would have to get their like leather flight jackets because the ones like the Air Force issue are like fucking stiff and like really shitty. So they'd have them made over there and get like the liners put in them, whatever you want. Like you can have like they would be so customized. You can put like a cigar holder like on the inside of your jacket, like a leather
That's pretty
jacket,
sick.
like monograms on the inside, like do whatever you want. And guys would buy their dress uniforms and stuff over there. And then you just have to bring them the buttons because they couldn't get them. It's weird. But
The gold ones, right?
yeah, the gold buttons, you just have to go.
That aren't actually buttons.
Yeah, you know how they sell them on base, like in the
They're
pack?
expensive as fuck.
They are, like $45
Yeah.
for like fucking 10 buttons.
They're plastic.
And they have the little backer on it that
Yeah.
you can pull off. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to be like, bring me the buttons and I'll do the uniform.
They're fucking plastic buttons.
I know. They're fucking, dude,
What are we doing here?
the stuff you have to buy at AFES, like the stuff for your uniform.
That's why it stands for another asshole fucking enlisted soldier.
Yes.
That's what AP stands
Yeah.
for.
So, okay. So like they give you a clothing allowance, right? Every year as an enlisted guy, but it doesn't cover all the shit that you have to buy. Like,
what is it, like? It's under $1,000, isn't it? Like, it's
dude, it was like 400
Yeah,
when I was
exactly.
in.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's like $400 or $500.
Doesn't it maybe cover the uniforms? It's not going to cover all the like accessories and accoutrement that you need.
It would cover uniforms unless they were changing the uniform.
Yeah, then you're fucked.
Then you're fucked.
Then you're fucked. But I've seen daylight runs out on how they make a lot of this food, and it scarred me.
It's very unsavory.
Yeah. But then you go back when you're drunk and you're like, yep, let's do it. Give me that. I'll do that. I'll do that.
Can I be 100% honest?
Uh-huh.
That's exactly how I feel about Bubba's Burgers now. Because we ate them a lot
Over
during the
the,
Heroes Cup.
oh yeah, nonstop.
Yeah. It's a good thing I wasn't sober during the Heroes Cup.
You've seen behind the scenes of the Bubbas
I've seen. Yes, I
Yeah.
know what the behind the sines of Bubba's is.
and the amount of grease
Ugh.
that was
Yeah, we almost
Catching the grill-
burnt down the Heroes Cup.
the grill, which is where the majority of firefighters in the
All
in
the
Commonwealth.
firefighters
Yeah.
in the region are there, and we couldn't put out a grease fire.
How funny was it
on a
though,
grill.
watching multiple firefighters fight over how to put out a fire?
Yeah, and meanwhile, I'm there, no fire training. Guys, there's propane on the bottom of that, right? We should probably like, get the fucking fire out. Yeah.
Listen, teach their own. Teach their own.
Too many chiefs, not enough Indians.
That's correct. So these segments go back to back, man. And I like your idea of just doing a straight Korea story
That
or Korea podcast. Good, man. Very good. There's it's the tip of the iceberg when it comes to.
I'm enjoying it so far because I was never in Korea, and I'm living vicarious through you right now. And so far, so good. I think I might have secondhand diarrhea from all the stuff
Just wait until tomorrow from the soju.
from all the shit. Oh, good. Yeah. I'll just
There's also a drink they mix with soju, and it's like soju and yogurt.
yogurt,
Yeah,
like
yogurt.
yogurt?
Yeah, and I can't remember. I think it's like a white rabbit or something like that. But
it's just called gross.
yeah, but all these places have their own drinks, like their
Yeah.
own, but they're all mixed with soju. But it's like
Soju's like the base of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they're stupid cheap, and then a lot of places are hookah bars as well, which hookah and soju. Oh man, just anything that's already taking away your already limited inhibitions.
Are your pants getting shorter down there?
Yeah,
Right?
they are. I'm just like, I would go back to Korea in a heartbeat. So, my brother, every adult member of my family has been to Korea for the males.
Yeah.
Like my dad went to Korea multiple times. My uncle was stationed there a couple times. And then my brother, who was in the Army as well, never was stationed there, but they did an exercise there when he was in the Washington Guard and went to Korea.
Yeah.
And my uncle was like, I love Korea. I got a bunch of time off. I'll come over and visit you. We'll go out and party. So he did. He met up with them, and they were in Osan, and they went out, and they had a good time. Yeah.
Do I smell a behind the boots trip
Oh, dude.
to Korea?
Yes.
Big Dick Nick, what do we think?
Did they just have the Olympics there? Wasn't it?
I don't follow
I
the
think 2018 was the Olympics in Korea,
Sure, I'll take your
like the Winter Olympics, like hockey
Yeah,
and stuff was there. But,
I'll take
but
your word for it.
Yeah, we should go back over there.
Let's do it. Yeah. I'll buy tickets right now. You keep talking.
Land of the
I'm gonna
morning
buy
calm.
tickets.
That's what they call it.
All right. So, talked about what to drink in Korea, which is basically just soju. Talked about what to eat in Korea. I want to talk about companions in Korea. And I'm not talking about the lady boys or
They don't
or
have
the
those.
hookers,
Well, they have those.
There's lady boys everywhere. Everywhere.
Okay, carry on. You'd be more of an expert than I.
I'm talking about the companions with 4 legs.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So when a company or a battalion or whatever, they have this animal that just is always there. It's sometimes called a mascot.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk about some mascots today.
Oh, okay.
And they're not it's not like a dog or like a cat or anything like that. These are different. Okay?
Weasels, marmots,
Maybe. So my
mongooses.
granddad was in the army in the 1950s, and he was deployed somewhere in Korea. He was writing a letter to my grandma, and he saw a giant lizard creep in. It was huge, with a few different colors, and had weird markings all over it. It was giving my grandpa the evil eye, or the hungry one. They had a 5-minute stare off, and then my grandpa slowly put his pencil and paper down, grabbed his machete from his backpack, and he sliced that giant lizard up into like 15 pieces and dumped it into the bin that he had in his tent. So this mascot didn't last long.
That wasn't a mascot. It was a target.
Wait. An hour later, this guy came in calling for his pet. My grandpa asked if he lost his dog. He shook his head. I lost my pet lizard. It was about 2 feet long, and it had some cool markings on it. My grandpa nodded, motioned over to the bin with his pencil. It's in there. That guy never spoke to my grandpa again. Who the fuck has
Weird.
a lizard as a pet?
Weird. Weirdos.
Yeah, you fucking weirdo.
Yeah,
I'm
seriously.
surprised that guy didn't just murder your grandpa.
Seriously. Anyone that has a lizard as a pet probably
Probably
would-
murders.
Probably, yeah.
For fun.
To feed the lizard.
I mean, you can't just get a 2-foot lizard from feeding him crickets.
Yeah. I think he's going to get 3 feet. I think
Yeah.
he's going to get 4 feet.
Yeah, you gotta hit that anabolic window.
Can you imagine giving a lizard steroids?
No.
Oh my God.
Lizards are terrifying anyways.
Yeah, they are.
They just
Fucking
look,
weird
they just
creatures.
they're always onto you about something.
Yeah.
Like they're always judging you.
Fucking weird
They're
creatures.
always on edge.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why do you have armor on at all times?
Why do you
What
have
are
that
you
tongue?
ready- what are you ready
doing?
for?
What are you doing with that tongue? What the
Yeah.
fuck?
Yeah. What are you just licking the air for, you fucking weirdo?
Because they're judging you. They're waiting. They're
Yeah,
going to pounce.
they're just tasting your
Yeah.
essence,
Like
and they're waiting for
fucking-
you to fall asleep.
Like the cats of the
I
reptile
don't blame them
world.
for fucking chopping it up.
Yeah. Ugh. Gross.
Ready for the next one?
Yeah, man.
Okay. So I did a tour of duty in Korea. During the end of my deployment, my unit received an order to switch barracks. I did not particularly like the idea, since we slept in a brand new building with new facilities. When we moved into the older facilities, we made a horrifying discovery. The former residents of the terrible barracks...
A chopped up lizard.
Yeah, it's weird. Looks like it was chopped up in the 1950s. That's odd. The former residents of the terrible barracks were the medical staff of the on-base hospital. They got moved because some of the residents befriended mice and kept them as pets. As a result, the drop ceiling became infested. One of our soldiers made the mistake of lifting off one of the ceiling panels, and several corpses and a flood of shit fell down.
Mouse corpses?
Mouse, nope. Just human corpses. The mice,
medical staff. I mean,
yeah.
come on. Like, what are
The
they
medical
doing?
staff left.
Yeah.
They weren't feeding the mice anymore. And, you know,
The mice were going to
desperate
eat.
times.
Mice were going to
Desperate
eat.
times. So a couple of bodies fell down. And you know what happens after you die? You expel your excrements.
Oh, gross.
And it was just human feces and bodies. No, I'm just kidding. It was the mice.
That's disgusting, dude.
It's disgusting regardless.
Fucking, yeah. Either way, but I think mice is worse.
I feel like the mice is worse.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah.
Gross, man.
Have you ever... I mean, you didn't go to Korea while you were in the Army? Did you?
No,
Just in
God,
the Air
no.
Force?
Yeah.
So you wouldn't have any...
No, I would.
No.
We had.
just 5-star. You had room service.
Yeah, we had
and-
concierge service.
Yeah,
Concierge.
you guys each had
concierge
your own
service,
butler.
Yeah, I had
And
my
your
own room.
suites and your en suites.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I never had to
Have you ever had any type of horrifying barracks? Everybody has.
Oh yeah, Fort Polk, Louisiana. Like when I was in the Army on my way, like anywhere you go for a training base,
they're just they're
just shitty because they're in the States. All the training bases, they're all like old World War II barracks.
Yeah,
most of them are probably gone now, but like literally these were World War II barracks that were built to. Because they used to run basic training at like every fucking army base during World War II because they needed like 7 million people.
Well, yeah.
So like,
we all died at a pretty high rate back in World War II.
We had to beat the Nazis.
Yeah, there was a lot of them.
Yeah. So I mean, hey, we need all the people we can get.
Yep.
So they had these like double floored barracks, wooden barracks with like bathrooms at one end and like fireplaces. But they were just so fucking run down and shitty. And it was horrible. I stayed at Fort Drum too during PLDC, but like, yeah, you're just infested with rodents. And in Louisiana, they're infested with fucking reptiles of all kinds.
Well, because they're not always lived in either.
And they're not sealed.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like screen doors.
Yeah. It's just like,
yeah.
Yeah,
whenever a slight breeze blows in, yeah.
Yeah, and they're all haunted probably. Anyway.
They're definitely haunted for sure. And it's not like in Louisiana there's any reptiles that want to kill you, like copperheads or anything. Or
moccasins, copperheads, alligators, every mosquito. Nothing.
It's a very, very nice,
clean
tempered environment.
Clean place, especially where the Army does training exercises in swamps. It's very pristine.
Yeah. All controlled.
But in Korea, actually, I ran into... So Korea, there's a viper, a snake, that's deadly. It's called the Mushu viper. And... when I was there, not drunk, I was actually doing training operations. We were up in the mountains, and I had just got done with like a phase 1 of an operation, and we were transitioning to like an escape and evasion part of it. And the group I was with,
looking.
What's that?
It's mean looking.
Oh, the Mushu viper. It's fucking crazy, right? But they're not very big either. And so,
hey, listen, it's not the size.
I know that's the problem. Look at me and you. Like, so. The aggressor group had gone away, and then like I was going back and forth coordinating stuff, and I was on the trail, and I stopped for a second, and one of them, like a baby one, went right between my legs, and this was like September time frame, so like when they're the most active, because it's like right before they kind of go away for the winter. Yeah, like went right between my legs, and like had fucking gone into the leaves, and I was like, holy shit, man! Like I'd never had that experience with like snakes.
Turned around and went back.
No, I'm like,
your pants.
I'm just,
what do you do? Yeah. That happened.
Yeah, so I went and told the guys that were hunkering down. I'm like, just so you know, there are vipers up here.
Don't want you to panic.
Don't you panic.
Hey,
but
listen, everything's fine.
Like that one right there.
Yeah, everything's fine.
But he took off, and I was
literally
like,
right now.
Yeah, never had it.
Beside your hand.
Yeah, never had it happen before. But I was like, wow, that's fucking crazy. But they're everywhere. But they're up in the mountains specifically, which is weird. But yeah, it was reptiles, man. Out in the field.
Why is it weird if that's their environment?
I guess. But
it's weird that they're living in their ecosystem.
But it's cold there, which is crazy. Like it gets really fucking cold in Korea. It also gets wicked hot in summertime, but it's like it's never the perfect balance. It's just shitty all the time, just shitty. But lovely place.
No, beautiful,
beautiful place, beautiful people,
lovely people.
The cool thing about Korea,
I hear northern Korea is beautiful this time.
Oh
of year?
Yeah, dude, yeah. It's kind of like it's
like a tourist destination.
It's a rollback. They've really gone to like an eco-friendly,
vintage,
not a whole lot of electricity, not pollution, like light pollution. They really just,
everyone's super friendly.
Yeah, I think they, what is it called, like a commune where they live off the like everyone does it for everyone else. Like it's like a hippie commune.
Yeah,
like communistic. Yeah, whatever. Anyway,
I don't know.
I think you just walk across. You just head right across. Go north, DMZ, and then just it's like the.
I think immediately as you cross the border, they hand you a beer.
They're welcoming.
they hand you some soju.
Very, very welcoming. Very welcoming. I bet their soju sucks.
It's probably the worst soju.
So
it's probably like
what's
just dirt flavor.
What's funny is they estimated. I mean, it's horrible because of war. But like if the Korean War kicked off, they estimated that like it would only go so far in the first few days because the North Koreans would stop because they had never been seen so much shit and food in their life that they'd be just pillaging everything, and like the wave would stop for a few days, and then
maybe that's why like
okay, we're done.
This is what freedom is.
Yeah, we're done.
Maybe that's why we've never sent reinforcements over when North Korea is doing some shit. Like they're only going to go to a certain.
They're going to stop right here.
Yeah, they're going to stop right here, and they'll give us plenty of time to send in reinforcements.
We know, right here.
Yeah.
And then, So that's really nice place. Really nice place. The other thing it's crazy about it is it's like because we're there to prevent a North Korean like overthrow.
Is that a threat?
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
I guess the entire country is like a playground for the U.S. military. You can land helicopters wherever the fuck you want. You can drive vehicles wherever you want because they're like, thanks guys, we know you're here. Thank you.
America.
Cheers. Yeah, Soju. Cheers.
Wow, someone appreciates us being there?
Yeah.
Wow, what is that like? Is that nice?
I guess.
Wow.
I guess. I mean, it may be wrong now, but at least I didn't give a fuck back then.
It's most definitely wrong.
I mean, when you're dropping empty soju bottles at helicopters, no one cares. Right?
Thanks for buying the soju.
No one cares. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Korea though. Wow, really good. Really good.
So, we have some booties that also went to Korea. Mm-hmm. Am I correct?
We do.
And an anonymous booty sent in not one, but 2 stories. Mm-hmm. Would you like to get into mail call?
Let's do it because I think these mail call stories are really going to put the cap on what Korea is all about.
I will let you read the first one because they're very long and I need to get myself ready and prepared to read a lot of words.
Okay. All right. So this one literally is sent in by Anonymous Booty. We appreciate it.
Yep, I said that.
Yep. You are branched from the Air Force. And the first one is entitled Bar Fire. One of my first TDYs to Korea, I went out with my crew to find some cool local spots. We got on the train and just randomly picked a spot to get off and explore. Solid first move. We were turned away by a few establishments with the infamous no Gishing spelling and X-arms, which means no Americans.
Well,
basically.
That's rude.
That's what Gishing means. But then got lucky with a pretty cool pool bar we stumbled across through a shady-ass alleyway stairwell. Don't ask how we found this place. I don't even think the locals could find the place twice. The bartenders there loved us, though, probably because our crew of about 8 brought more alcohol sales in a matter of hours than they have had all year. I digress. They literally put that. I digress, which is what we say all the time. As drinking escalates, so too do the shenanigans. The bartenders are joining us in round after round of shots. Someone was literally hanging from a ceiling fan at one point. The great let's shoot darts with my hand on the board genius ensued, but then the flaming shots. Someone had a great idea to start setting our shots on fire, which would lead you to understand the octane of soju, right?
Yeah.
Because
So they were lighting soju on fire?
yeah, because traditional soju like doesn't like there's no real like regulatory effects towards it. Like you can't like sometimes you get a bottle of like 16% and sometimes you get a bottle of like 40%, and
So
it's
like Russian roulette.
yeah.
Yeah.
So why this ever became a thing I will never know, but we certainly discovered why it shouldn't be. So we start a round of these flaming shots and 2 of our buddies get distracted, leaving the shots burning far too long. They started wrestling or something, I can't remember, which is what one does.
Of course, yeah. That's exactly what I thought they were doing. They're probably just wrestling. Give them a minute. They'll be back.
I was probably watching for the next person to get a dart through their hand. So we hear both of them start yelling after they finally take said shots, and both had burned their lips from the flaming hot glass and had the perfect matching cold sore mouths marks on the sides of their mouths. Solid material for many bro lover jokes to come. Although humorous, this was not the best part. Not minutes later, the bartender is becoming frantic, and there are giant flames taking over his wooden bar in an all-wooden building. Apparently, when the guys burned their mouths, they dropped the said shot glasses, which began the fire, which also begs the question, did they then not blow out the flames before taking the shot?
That's part of the rules, boys.
Which is, listen, it's step 1, step 2.
Yeah.
Step 1,
it's
step 2.
It's not going to go out just because it's
just
inside your mouth.
It's going to keep burning all the way down.
All the way down.
It took seconds for the flames to cover the length of the bar, almost reaching the ceiling. Maybe fire extinguishers aren't a thing in Korea, ? But the bartender and some of our crew managed to smother the 4-foot flames with wet towels from behind the bar, which were probably like alcohol soaked as well.
Yeah.
Like recipe for a disaster right
Whatever.
here. There was the awkward wide-eye stare-off immediately after while this charred bar is still smoking. We're so fucked. But the bartender just told us to go, and I think we were practically running out the door before he could even finish the word. We did leave a very generous tip, though.
Was it a fix your bar kind of tip?
I hope so. Like,
Because I don't think 30% is going to do it.
Yeah. I have been in foreign countries before where, like, at the bar where I'm like, here, and I just push a wad of money
don't know what
across
the custom is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, too, like you from the Soju story, the price of Korean won is like, it's like 4,500 won is like $4.50.
Yeah.
So you're like stacks and stacks of this shit. And you go to another thing you have to do before you go out is there's 2 ATMs right next to the
Ass to mouths.
yeah, automatic teller machines,
Okay.
I believe is the correct. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I know where yours is.
With someone
But
else.
right next to the guard post 1, like on the back side of it. So you can get one's yen or won, and then one is dollars. So you can pay for either. It's just the exchange rate fucks you because they kind of, they're looking for that dollars. But yeah, flaming bars in Korea. So that was a thing. There were parts of it. I can't remember how they did say it. It was like geisha, like no geishing, which is like no Americans allowed. Like you couldn't, certain spots you couldn't go to because they're like, we've had our bar burnt down before. We're not fucking doing this again. No.
Let's talk about the matching coleslaws.
Yeah.
Real quick. Because you go from drunk, probably wrestling in a Korean bar, to coming back the next day with matching coleslaws.
Maybe they already had them.
What were you two, boy? No, it was just a drink. Just a drink. I burnt myself.
A flaming drink. I swear to God.
Flaming
It was a
drink.
flaming drink. Yeah, like that really would happen.
I've done that before where I was, I can't remember where I was, but it was out on a weekend with some other people in the army, and I was drunk, and I went to put a cigarette in my mouth, but I was holding it backwards.
Oh.
Already lit. So I went to go and I put it right on my lip. And it does. It looks like you have herpes.
Like this right here.
Yeah.
But this is from a fucking
Herpes.
a hockey stick.
It's herpes.
I'm a Worcester
Oh, it's
firefighter.
definitely herpes.
Yeah.
I saw
Doesn't taste like herpes.
Yeah, that's my guy. I saw it.
Yeah, it doesn't taste like herpes.
Yeah, no, it's definitely herpes.
Anyhow, yeah, flaming. Yeah, listen. The other thing I've done too is like a flaming Dr. Pepper or like a flaming Mo, if you will. Let it sit too long and then grab the glass, and the glass is fucking red hot at that point, and you burn the fuck out of yourself. And then you drop it, and then you catch a bar on fire, or you try to drink it while it's flaming and catch a bar on fire.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah,
Shall we read story number 2 from this anonymous booty?
I think we shall.
Okay. Bear with me, guys. I can't read, and this is kind of small, so I'm going to make it larger, because I can do that on my computer. Can you make the font larger?
Yeah, absolutely.
There? Oh, you just bring it closer to your face. Oh, you got me by the balls on
Who's
that
the
one.
asshole now?
That's obviously me every time.
Put on my monocle too.
All right, so this story is called Lost in Seoul. After a couple trips to Osan, my buddies and I decide to check out Seoul to see what more Korea had to offer other than soju smoothie bars and mama-sans that you found outside of Osan. We took a train over to meet up with a friend of mine that was stationed in Yongsan?
Yep.
Sounds like Yongsan.
Young song. Yep.
Thank you, Yongsan. Since these were his stomping grounds, I figured we were pretty safe roaming around with him. He took us to a pretty awesome lunch spot where we ordered pitchers of margaritas and started the day drinking festivities that of course went into the evening of bar hopping and avoiding my dear Yongsan friend from getting into altercations. SF guys don't always play nice with others, which is Special Forces.
Mm-hmm.
It had been a pretty epic day, though, and we were starting to wrap things up to head back for curfew when my two friends began fighting. SF versus AF. This was not going to end well for my AF buddy. So I split them up, and it was time for us to go separate ways. Said bye to young son, but then realized, well, shit, it's curfew, and we are drunk in Seoul with no clue how to get back to Osan from here, and really no idea where in Seoul we currently are. After dodging courtesy patrol, we started looking for somewhere to hide out until morning. We finally came across this dingy hotel that offered pay by the hour, and tried to get a room, but they would only allow rooms rented to couples. So this goes back to the herpes. So one of the guys and I posed a couple and pretended to say bye to the others after scouting out the side entrances. We get into the room, which is equipped with cameras. Yes, this gem had cameras, even in the bedroom. Couples, huh? We covered them up as the remainder of the group scaled the 2-story wall to this skinny-ass window that was about head height into our room. Of course, the window doesn't open, but we managed to crack the seal around the window to pull it open to get our friends inside. The manager realized the cameras were covered, so they came up and kicked our friends out. She was speaking Korean, so I don't know what she said, but she was shaking her head, looking at me in disgust. Pretty sure she thought I was trying to be party some kind of kinky one-girl orgy. So the guys had to then scale the wall again while I stood in front of the camera to block them from being seen coming back in the window. They had to stay the rest of the night cuddled in about a 3-foot space behind the bed, the only spot in the room out of sight of camera. When we all walked out together in the morning, I said thank you and waved bye to the manager that just stared at me with absolute disdain. But hey, no one got arrested, so we'll call it a win. We just got stuck in Osan after that.
We just stuck to Osan after that.
Yep.
Yeah, which is getting stuck in Osan too. So yeah, this is the escalation. So you start in Osan, or you start wherever you're deployed to,
Yep.
or TDY to, and you do these like the local areas, and you're like, let's go to Seoul, right? So just for a little context, the city of Seoul, which is the capital of Korea, has a population of 10 million fucking people. It is huge, right? And it is an absolute crazy fest. This is where I met Korean Jesus. The night that we were trying to go to McDonald's after curfew.
I think Korean Jesus is the real Jesus, so you can just say Jesus.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure he originated in Korea.
possibly.
I think so.
Maybe it was the real Jesus. But I feel like it's also like, it was kind of like they have Santas that like ring bells.
Yeah.
They're not the real Santa, but
Say
they're
that.
no, they're not the real Santa. They're his
Say that.
they're his minions.
Oh, okay.
So this was like,
But there is a
yeah, there is a real Santa.
Santa's real.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But this was like Jesus's Korean minion, like his bell ringer. His bell ringer. And we ended up talking.
He has Jesus in every country.
Oh, yeah,
and you
yeah.
just walk by
Yeah,
the Korean one.
He has to, yeah. But he was in an alleyway behind the hotel we were staying at,
What's Korean Jesus doing?
which is hanging out, drinking soju, as is tradition. And the McDonald's was across the street, across like a 4-lane highway. But one of the guys I was with is a Korean American and speaks Korean, and he was translating for Korean Jesus at the point with us, and it was just a great time.
Yeah.
But the courtesy patrols that was mentioned in this, they're the
They were
worst.
going out to round you guys up.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Worst people in the world. They're the narcs. They're
How dare you do your job?
yeah, sober assholes.
Yeah, you piece
Going
of shit.
to
sober
stop me
bastard.
from doing stupid stuff.
Yeah.
How dare you? Where do you get
think
off?
You are.
But yeah, this is like the escalation. So you start in like the local areas, and you're like,
Yep.
you like figure out Korea. You're like, I got Korea. Then you end up in a place that has 10 million people, and you're like, I have no fucking idea where I am. We got stuck in the middle of a K-pop festival, and there were probably 20,000 people in a space that only would hold 1,000.
That sounds amazing.
And but it's like K-pop, and we had to go from one side to the other, and we had to go through the crowd to get there because there was no other way to get from A to B. And like it was like if you get knocked down, just keep
You
fucking
get back up again?
No, you would not get back up again. You just keep fucking going. You can't stop. He's dead. He's gone. he's fucking gone. K-pop has him now. He's gone.
Fuck your Soldier's Creed. You leave him behind.
You leave him, and you just push through. And you're like, if you don't make it, we'll be at that bar on the other side for the next 30 to 45 minutes. Find us.
And from there on, no idea.
Yeah, it's kind of like the end of Titanic where Jack slips under the water and is just like
Don't get me started.
watching him go down.
get me
There was
started.
plenty of room on that fucking log.
One,
Yeah.
yes. And then she says, I'll never let go.
And she let go.
And then cut to her letting go.
I think he did it on purpose. He's like,
She's kind of a cunt.
yeah, I don't want to be tied down with this. Laters. But you know what I mean? So you like,
Yeah.
so the amount of people you just see, and there's like sections of Seoul too, that you just like, they're like these random like high rises and bars and restaurants, and it's just crazy. It's just insanity.
Let's go back to this K-pop concert.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you'd be walking through Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Is it like that?
Yeah, it is. But it's also like the difference is people would go to Comic-Con and dress up.
Mm-hmm.
People weren't dressing up for the K-pop. That's how they actually dress.
Yeah, that's
all
what I'm
the time.
saying. Yeah.
They dress all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like at the time it was a ton of Hello Kitty. Everything was like Hello Kitty.
It's hot.
Yeah. And just weaving your way through. But to like the locals, it was like nothing. They're just like, and you'd see like local moms pushing like strollers through a mass of people and like just not getting out of their way and just bumping people like with the stroller. And like, it's like a
People
thing.
just stomping on
But I
babies
remember
and shit.
coming around the corner, it was like a dead stop being like, we have to go through that.
I would just go on stage.
Be brave.
Just cross the
Be
stage.
brave.
They do it in all the movies.
Hold, excuse me. Sorry.
Just all you have to do is start a montage with the K-pop song in the background, and then you just run across stage, and it works every time. No one questions anything.
Yeah, be like, sorry, don't mind
And
me.
then you got
Coming
the
through.
then you got the
Coming
big
through.
security guard with the
Coming through.
mustache
Coming through,
chasing
yeah.
after you.
Hey, you.
But he never catches.
Because he slips on a banana peel.
He slips on something,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the K-pop sweat.
or you hide in the dumpster, and he runs by you in the alleyway, and you come out with noodles on your hair.
And you're like,
This is
what?
an oddly specific movie that I feel like I'm thinking of. But
I think you're thinking of Scooby Doo.
Is it?
It's like,
I think it actually might be.
and the guy with the mustache is a monster. He's chasing you.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no,
A lot of life lessons learned from Scooby Doo.
it really is.
Yeah, you can really learn a lot. But
Yeah.
I also
All
recommend.
living under masks.
Yeah, I recommend people spend time in Korea.
Yeah. Well, I want to go.
Yeah, and the other thing too, it's like when you go there to train, like you do some really cool stuff too. That's just not even fucking part of the adventure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like all that stuff's
Yeah.
like cool, but you just get to go drink your face off with soju and in kettles and just like break part of your molar,
I actually
break a titanium
throughout
watch
this-
and your face, and
throughout
have
this whole
pieces
hour,
of concrete
I
coming out of your
forgot that
mouth.
you actually still have a job to do.
Yeah, I wasn't just there to
Yeah.
drink soju, but I was like, yeah.
Let's just do shit in the morning.
Yeah. I actually have to do stuff at fucking
Forgot about that.
7 a.m.
Air Force time, of course. That was it, man. That was a trip to Korea.
Yeah. Welcome back with your soul.
Behind the boot style.
Yeah, it was a good one. Great episode.
Yeah.
Wait, well, I'm very impressed that you, or I'm not impressed, I'm just very happy that you decided to say, let's do an all Korea episode.
Sometimes I get good ideas.
Yeah.
I get like one every month, so I wasted it. No, it's end of the month, so that's good.
Yeah.
That's not
Because
bad.
this has been going on since 1954.
Yeah.
The war ended in 53.
Mm-hmm.
This has been soldiers rotate in and out. And the worst is they actually took guys from Korea and sent them to Iraq.
That's
So you got sent to Korea for a year, then sent to Iraq, and then had to go back to Korea.
so like the end, like 2 weeks.
And that's the big green weenie.
You're ending your deployment to Iraq in 2 weeks, and most people are like, at least I get to go back to the States.
Apple pie.
Something. I get to go back to something. These guys are like, at least I get to go back to Miss Kim's Burgers.
Yep, and probably in the wintertime too, where it's cold as fuck.
They only do rotations in
Yep.
the winter.
Yeah, winter to winter, you missed everything good.
Yep.
Well, guess what? But there's always soju, just not in your barracks.
That's true. Thank you, 2008.
Son of a bitch.
You sure you don't want to say his name?
No, I don't.
Okay.
It's all set.
right.
He's probably got murdered.
Probably. Well,
yeah.
thank you, Booties, for tuning into our Korea episode.
Mm-hmm.
We will have up something about whether we want to change the name from Booties to Socks or Booties to Bootlickers.
Mm-hmm.
We'll let you guys decide. That'll be on some sort of social media. Bobby's going to send a telegram out to all of our listener. This just in.
Breaking.
Thank you, as always, to Big Dick Nick and Wilco Media. And I was a little in left field during our live show.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that we recorded last week's episode, the week before the live show. So I want to say this now. Big Dick Nick and the team on the live show, yeah, out of this world.
100%.
Yeah.
Agree. Couldn't have done it anywhere near that. Could not have imagined it going any better.
Yes.
From setup to tear down to everything in between.
Nick stopped me from fighting someone. It was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
He's a magician.
He's more than just a big dick. He's producer extraordinaire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Magic man.
He wields it.
Yeah. Wields it with power.
Yep. So don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page, Wilco Media. And, subscribe and like the podcast wherever you listen to it and leave a review.
And tell your friends.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, that's easy. You just go to
Brain
Wilco.
works a little slower. I'll get there.
You just go to wilcomediapro.com and then go behind BTB podcast to submit your story. It'll literally say right shed here,
Yeah.
just like Anonymous Booty did.
Yep.
So I appreciate people sending in their stories. We've been getting more and more in,
Yeah, we
but
have.
keep them flowing, okay?
Yeah.
And
We want a heavy flow.
yeah, heavy flow.
We want a heavy
Your
flow.
stories will help us guide the segments that we do for individual episodes as well. So if you
Yeah.
want to, comment on what you want to see for a segment, or if you have, I know Chucko has reached out to me a couple times and said, "Hey, remember this?" Like, all things that can lead to segments and all things that we can make the booties feel a part of the team.
Yeah. And if you have anything negative to say, you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah, you just keep it to your fucking self.
I'm just kidding.
But seriously,
But seriously, go fuck yourself. That's it, man.
yeah.
End of the episode.
And cut.
Yep.
Fucking Soju.
Yeah, I feel like a good way to end it is go fuck yourself, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, with Soju.